Well, we have in the studio Richard Nyama. He's a member of the MPP's communication team, and he's here with us. He also works with the Office of the Vice President. Thanks for joining me.
And where is that one from?
Oh.
The Office of the Vice President? Oh.
I know. Oh, you don't work with the Office of the
No,
Vice President? Okay. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Yesterday we had the Assembly of the AMA in the General Assembly approving unanimously the nomination to be AMA Mayor or the Chief Executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Mohammed Ni Ejesoa. What do you make of him in the first place? And then his vision for the Assembly?
Let me say good morning to your viewers. I happen to know Ejesoa, a very calm, well-mannered gentleman, soft-spoken, but very deep. He brings, even before the swearing in, I heard him a couple of times being interviewed, especially about decongesting the city and issues of sanitation and how he was going to go about it. And I was pretty excited about the way he went about describing his vision. He indicated that how we went about it in previous years hasn't worked, and to be frank with you, it hasn't. The Abaye way of doing it hasn't worked. Beating people to pulp and chasing them hasn't, over the last 20-25 years, changed anything. If anything, Accra is getting faultier, is getting choked, more choked, and it's disaster everywhere. You just need to have a drizzle and then the whole place is a mess. He has this fresh idea of engaging the stakeholders and then reaching their conscience and their hearts to largely come on board. And for me, that is refreshing, because if you are able to convince people that the way they are doing things is not helping, you're more likely to get cooperation and to also get them engaged in what you want to achieve. And so the likelihood, and if he does it properly, is for you to see the market women, the market queens, the street hawkers and everybody come on board and change things. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not surprised actually, that he's had 100%. Probably his approach prior to this informed the overwhelming support he's had. And I hope he takes that vision to the office. The Accra, for me, is one of the most faulty places you can have on earth. Anything worse than this is a garbage, rubbish dump. And we need to do something about it. There are very simple things that we need to do. Stuff like stopping people from urinating on the streets. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling your breakfast this morning. People who do it openly, open defecation, throwing rubbish in gutters. Somebody is actually selling by the gutter and they throw the remains and everything right in front of them. Then the next day they are surprised the rains has come and collected their items away. We would have to engage people to go out there and educate them one-on-one. And before that, we would have to have systems in place. If we're looking at changing or reducing the throwing of rubbish around, I would expect to see bins, okay, properly distributed across, especially in targeted areas where you have the market women located, where you have people selling food items and all that. You educate them properly, and then you bring those items around and ask them to put it there to reduce littering. And then you also liaise with the companies like Zoom Lions and the others that actually do the cleaning up to ensure that when these bins, there's a regular removal of the rubbish, because there are instances where the things fill up and they are overflowing, nobody is picking it up, and then it ends up also choking the gutters. And then there was this aspect, and I think that largely falls in the face of the government, where there was supposed to be a ban on plastics. I was very excited when that thing came up. I actually wrote an article on the health implications of that. And countries like Rwanda, Uganda, in Africa, a lot of other countries on this continent have banned plastics, and they have successfully done so because they've put in laws that have replaced plastic bags with other substitutes like paper bags, and you're not also allowed to litter. And so I wait to see the strategy he's going to implement. He says he's going to make Accra a smart city and very clean. I think the cleanliness aspect can be done, but it largely boils down to commitment, enforcing the laws. This country has the knack for producing the best laws, and then we expect the laws themselves to get up and work and do the talking and the working for us. If he's able to implement the laws with a human face, but probably employ people to go around the marketplaces, the carriers, and educate them why we shouldn't throw rubbish around for their own sake and their own health. People will come along. Let's put systems in place. Open drainage, seriously, is one other cause of the mess we have. What is the point doing the drainage and leaving it open, even if they don't throw rubbish in it? The mere fact that rain falls and sweeps the sand on the street into the drainage worsens the problem. So we would also have to look at whether it is the best to have open drainages. I've heard the local, the Minister for Works and Housing indicate that we would have to fine about $700 million to do the Conti project completed. For me, if we're able to do it and we have a very well-defined underground sewage system, you go to cities around the world, you don't see any. I can't remember.
You don't see an open drain.
I've never seen
and
it.
It's not as if their sewer or waste is better than ours.
No. And
they just make sure they put in the right structures.
It's built underground.
It's surprising,
Richard. It's clean. And you see,
and we have those who man these institutions who travel and go and see.
They go and see. Yeah, it's just.
I don't know why we put up open drain. I still don't know why.
It's probably for tourist purposes. They go and look and come back and then just wander in their heads.
I still don't get it.
For me, it's a worry. We should have it. Look, and we're talking about waste to energy. If you're going to have an effective waste to energy system, you naturally would have to have a very good underground sewage system, because you do not want to put up an energy plant. Okay, it's supposed to convert your sewage into power for you, and then you have sand, plastic, everything going to the machines. You will be back to square one.
Yes, just makes sense.
Yes, and so we would have to have a very good sewage system, properly built, and then directed to a particular plant, 1 or 2 plants that would also provide us power. If we do that and do it well, in actual fact, there will come a point. There are countries now importing waste because they don't have enough waste in their country to be able to run these plants. And we have it, and we have several heaps of it. We don't know what to do with it.
One of the critical things for Accra has been the enforcement of the regulations, because people start to choose on the other side are also poor. So we have to enforce the regulations, but people also have not changed their attitudes. How do we have an AMA mayor tackling that?
Yes, for me, the enforcement of laws is very important. Professor Adedeji of Nigeria once said that if you go to an international conference, the best position is to sit by the Ghanaian delegates. You just look in their papers and they have the best written stuff. but nothing ever happens. And it's not just the Nigerians, the Ivorians, virtually our neighbors have taken a cue from us. And so anytime we appear in conferences, they want to be very close to us. They will copy and go and implement it. And we are sitting here talking. Look, we're complaining we don't have work for the youth. We want to cause massive youth employment. If I was in his shoes, I wouldn't use Abaye, all right? But I probably would want to have a sit-in with the Chief Justice to look at the possibility of having a sanitation court specifically dedicated to this purpose. And then I will employ a lot of people. You go, you arrest anyone openly defecating, you arrest anyone peeing on the street, you arrest anyone putting rubbish in the bin. Don't beat the person up. Straight up to the court, the person is fined. And you get paid from it. So if you get to the sanitation court and you are fined 100 Ghana cedis, I'm sure next time before you take
that ultimately results in enforcement, right?
Yes. The next time you think of taking your willy out to take a pee out there, you think twice. Another 100 cedis could be on the way. And if you do it 2-3 times, the likelihood is that you would even have a higher and stiffer punishment. So for me, there's a nicer way of actually enforcing the law than the very crude way we do it currently by beating people and chasing them. It doesn't help.
But at the end of the day, we have a stream or a line of squatters and hawkers we know who have occupied places they shouldn't be occupying. Yeah. Indeed, take advantage of the political situation in each election year and then multiply their numbers.
You see, when you put the systems in place, whether you are a hawker, you are whatever, a squatter, and I arrest you openly defecating or taking a pee, when you go to the court, your status is not what would define the judgment. Were you caught doing it? Yes. This is the fine. You pay and that's it.
Yeah.
Else, maybe we'll commit you to community service. That very place that we found you wee-weeing and messing up or throwing rubbish, we'll give you 1 month, okay? If you cannot pay, to be there cleaning every day, and somebody is keeping an eye on you. You are publicly being disgraced. You are there washing and cleaning and scrubbing. Next time, you think twice before you do what you want to do. There are better ways of doing this.
And we'll be having also in the discussion, commenting on this, Victor Adaudu. He's a legal practitioner, a member of the NDC as well. And we have to pave way for him as we bring you the story as the president's nominee for Accra Mayor on Thursday was unanimously endorsed by the Metropolitan Assembly. That's the General Assembly. And Mohammed Niyejesoa secured the approval of all 109 Assembly members to make him Accra's freshest or newest mayor, but about the only one in recent times to have been unanimously passed by the General Assembly. The outcome of the election also suggests an overwhelming confidence in the president's nominee to address the many challenges facing the metropolis.
The former Greater Accra Regional Secretary of the New Patriotic Party needed at least 2/3 of the votes to be approved as the president's nominee as mayor of Accra. But Niyejesoa secured all 109 votes from the assembly members. He was immediately sworn into office by the presiding member to begin his term in office as the chief executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Some assembly members have a wish list for the new mayor.
At us now, we are approaching the rainy season and all our drains is choked. So we need deserting, massive deserting. So I will urge that Ajesoa should come to our aid so that we can have the deserted done.
Looking at Accra, you see, we have a lot of unauthorized structures that we think are in places that we think they are not supposed to be there, which coming of Ajesoa, we think he will put things in place, even by not at least trying to put to let people cry, but he will do things that will make people, feel happy.
We, the assembly members, we are in a hurry because our time is too short in assembly. You understand? So we need development in our areas to get re-elected again. So we don't need to waste any time. We have to give him the nod for Accra to be developed.
The Accra Mayor Mohammed Ni Ajay-Sowa says he will work with all to achieve the president's vision for the Accra metropolis.
I shall work with you. So that we should be able to have a sustainable smart city for Accra. Amen. In a few years to come, our mind and vision for the people of Accra in accordance with
Mohammed Ni Ajay-Sowa, the new Metropolitan Chief Executive for Accra. And Victor Kojogan Adaudu is joining us. Kojogan, how are you?
I'm fine. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us this morning. What would you say about the new Accra mayor and the tax? We're told in other literature when you read describing what he's about to face, they say it's enormous.
It's onerous.
Onerous. Okay.
Onerous.
Great.
Let me congratulate him for his appointment and the confidence that has been reposed in him by the president and the assembly members. That is to a large extent to say the people who live in the greater Accra or within the metropolis. I believe that they think he's fit for the job, he can do the job, and I pray for strength and wisdom for him to be able to do it. I'll never wish him any ill, but the job is a difficult one.
Why?
It's a difficult one in the sense that the kind of pressure that comes on you as the metropolitan or the mayor. You have your superiors from the ministry, from government, you have your colleagues, the assembly members, you have pressure from even your party and others. And this puts so much pressure on you. Accra is a place that the number of votes and others that come, there are things you want to implement, good things you want to implement, but it gets to a point, brakes are put on you. You will not be able to do it.
Indirect brakes?
Yes, yeah, there are invisible hands that would say, no, you can't do this. If you do this, it will be at our own peril.
Because of the political ramifications, you say?
Definitely, it is there. But what I just pray for him, or he should be able to do, is to lobby the stakeholders within. Let them be participants in the decisions that he wants to take. With that, he will be able to succeed. But if he thinks that the assembly takes a decision or the executive committee of AMA takes a decision and they'll be able to implement it without a buy-in from the people, it will be difficult for him.
If you're saying the people, the invisible hands?
Yes, definitely. It will be very difficult for him because AMA, I will tell you that the money that goes to AMA, the taxes and other, if it's properly managed, we shouldn't be having some of the problems that we have in here. There's a lot of pull factors, push factors in AMA, but I believe that since he has the confidence of the president, he has to contact his former mayors, what has been the challenges, what was the failures, were they thinking, so that he'll be able to get into it. The law also gives him the Local Governance Act gives him some powers, and those powers he needs to bring in the people. I think he said one of the things maybe I will give him
tax for.
Yeah, tax on advice.
Okay.
Is that he should look at what he says, his media, his utterances, than the kind of work he would do. If not, it will bring so much pressure on him because it's easier said than done. And I believe he can do it. I wish him all the best. I think he already said that He thinks that the strategy by which traders, people who were developing structures on unauthorized people, I think the strategy
and
that
even
was
squatters, yeah.
the squatters was adopted were wrong. I think it's time he gets them, their leaders, to get to know that, yes, if you are building on a waterway, it is wrong. This is what the law says. This is what the power that has been given to me to do. What do you think it should be done? The reverse of it is that if you don't also go and demolish those structures and others, the reverse will be that should everybody just get up and go and settle anywhere and says that I am homeless. There's one particular decision the Supreme Court took. I think the issues of these squatters, and one of the judges, I'll mention it, he was saying that then should it be that people have their property, people will come and say we are homeless, so we are going to occupy their houses or occupy government buildings and say we are homeless or not. That is not it. All he needs is get their leaders, get their buy-in, and let them know that what they are doing or where they are is unauthorized. What do they think can be done? So that they all be part of the solution. I think with that one, he'll be able to make it.
We've seen Nunu Amatefio. We've seen Stanley Ejiri Blankson. We've seen
E.T. Mensah.
E.T. Mensah. We've seen
Oko
van der Poy.
Yes.
I would liken Oko van der Poy, maybe just a little upgrade from Ejiri Blankson. They all seem to be very vociferous and have a way of going about things. In what mode, temperament, should he be to know that he has to, knowing the AMA that we all know, to manage AMA?
No, I think he's displayed it.
Because the gentleman is a kudu. He doesn't.
Yes, and that's what I referred to in the beginning, that he's indicated that, look, the way things were done in the past is not the way to go. If you use the whip, and the people have come back onto the streets.
In Accra?
Yes. Abaye, what is the whole Abaye concept?
Yeah, Accra, they don't like gentle people. Though.
We beat you to pulp and get you off the street. The next day, the person is there because they have to survive. Okay, so he says he's going to use dialogue. It is the way he goes about dialoguing that would let the people think he's either weak or he's a good leader and that they should cooperate with him. And that's what I was saying. You see, you don't go whipping people out of the street and you don't provide them alternatives. So there should be, whilst he's dialoguing with them, alternatives on the table for them to choose and pick, for which then you can have a solution. If you're saying don't squat here, what is the solution to it? You say don't litter. What is the solution? If the bins are there and the things are collected, that is one. If you have the laws being enforced, you've employed people to arrest people that would litter and pee and defecate openly, and those people are tried summarily and fined, naturally there's a deterrent. So you should have a strategy in place before you go negotiating. Else, just talking to us, Ghanaians are not very good at listening and taking advice. When former Vice President Aliu, may so rest in peace, brought about the best, for me, the best policy that would have seen this country develop rapidly. We actually made a joke of it and
you mean the discipline policy?
Yes, the discipline thing. For me, the main reason why Ghana is where it is because we as a people naturally are so indisciplined. We don't care about anything. We have all the laws will never work. And it's because we don't put structures in place.
It's more of an African thing, don't you think?
It's not an African thing. Go to Rwanda. Rwanda,
the leader of Rwanda is...
No, you see, it's not just
he's supposed to be a Democrat, but he's very stern.
Yeah, you see,
he's very cool, but very stern.
No, but you see, that is the whole point.
You're picked up in the middle of the night somewhere.
No, what is the point of you having a law and not enforcing it?
Richard,
if you have the laws and you enforce them, naturally you have results. It doesn't. Let's not put it down to an autocratic person being the one that will naturally be able to.
In what mode temperament should he be? I love the Stanley Ejiri Blankson Oko van der Poy posture.
No, it will not go. If you adopt such post, structure, the issue is that, don't forget also that he's a politician. He comes from a party. They will lose their votes. The votes, I'll tell you that, because that is how people see that being on the street and others is to egg their living. And now they have, squatters and others have seen that their trump card is to vote. So they will tell you openly that, yes, we won't vote for you. We will take you out of office. And you would think that it's a joke, but it happens. What I believe he can't be doing is to dialogue. Go into the community. Ask the people. Look, I can tell you that you go into the community, people who are squatting and there, most of them know what they are doing. It's wrong. But if you get their leaders and say, okay, I've come, what do you think is the solution? The dialogue. Invite them. Some of them even want to be seen, to be appreciated, to be seen that we are the leaders in this community. If you give them that power, you empower those leaders of the squatters and others, they will even do their job for you. Because they know when you are given that power and they report to the mayor and others, they know anytime we can get the mayor. So we think this is an issue that we should address. They will even give you solutions, which you only need to refine with your executives and assembly members, that this is what this community, the squatters here, are saying. They need few things. But if you go with that abrasive, belligerent position that I have the power, what I say is what has to be done, I don't think that he will make it.
But if you appeal to people's emotions and they still insist.
You know, you use the carrot and stick approach. You use the carrot and stick approach. You know, he was talking about discipline, why we are not disciplined. It is not that we cannot enforce the laws. There is a person who wants to be fair and firm, who decides that anybody who infringes or violates the law, this should be the sanction. The moment he decides that this is what I'm going to do, all you see is a cultural thing. At dawn, you see his senior pastor in his church coming to his office or his house. You see the paramount chief coming to say that, oh, don't you know this man? This is how we are related. It's a cultural thing. The kind of pressure that is brought to bear on you. It gets to a point some leaders feel that I don't want to incur the displeasure of the people. It gets to a point, so who am I that I even find these prominent people, citizens, coming just to ask me to exercise, you know, temper justice with mercy, and you decide that you won't do it. They will keep quiet, but there will be a time they will always want. So it's a very difficult terrain. If you've not faced it before, you are not there, you think that, oh, it's an easy thing that can be done. But I can tell you, you find prominent citizens, statesmen, pastors, very revered pastors who will come. There is an issue, and they'll tell you,
malnutrition.
Go slowly, malnutrition. And you know, you feel you have been disabled. You have the power. People see that he must act, but they are not seeing you act. And if they find, why is it that he's not acting? But there are some breaks that have been put. It's a cultural thing. Until we find a way to really, really work on that. That the same chiefs, the same elders, when somebody has gone wrong, the person should be told in uncertain terms that, look, it is wrong, you should be rebuked, but all we can ask for is that it should not be the maximum sentence. It should be seen like that, but if still people would always come behind closed doors and say it, it's a difficult thing.
I think just a small one. I think it's because we have personalized leadership. You see,
it's not because our leaders are rather closer to us.
No, you see, if you personalize leadership, what then happens is that.
What's the meaning of personalized leadership?
Oh, the position you are holding is about you, the person, and not the office.
The office.
Okay. If you were able to put in structures that will automatically take effect when something goes wrong, you are removed from these pressures that he's talking about.
You mean then the actions will not be attributed to you, but will be attributed to the structures because they are working?
Yes. And that is where I was suggesting that, look, we are complaining about employment. Employ people. Let them be on the street. You have met with the leadership. You have told them what the problem is. They've given you the solutions. You've told them how you are going to go about resolving it. Put the structures in place and go to sleep. The structures will work for you. If I am going to get my daily bread from arresting someone doing open defecation and urinating, I will ensure that.
And that person the next time, because you come from a certain political structure based on your appointment, you will not, your party will not be voted for. I think essentially that's what we're trying to. And that's and that's how the past AMA mayors have failed.
We have allowed ourselves to be held to ransom by these things. Point is that if you put the structures in place and the structures are working, I can tell you when the NDC comes, it will continue because they dismantle it at their own peril. And then once that cycle is created...
But that's the cycle we've created.
Hold on. Yes.
You think it's going to stop now?
No, hold on. It's because we have dismantled them.
Okay.
I'm saying that if we put the structures in place and we allow them to run, at the end of the day, the ordinary voter knows that whether NDC or MPP, this is how things are done in this country. And we like it or not, we have to live by it.
Okay.